Hey everybody, what's going on? It was another busy week for the Montreal Canadiens with Nick Suzuki being named the 31st captain in Montreal Canadiens history, along with the rookie tournament beginning last night in Buffalo. Let's dive into both of these aspects today in Cook's Corner. Let's start with Suzuki being named captain. This is now the youngest captain in Montreal Canadiens history, and judging by the process that the Montreal Canadiens currently are going on, this is going to be a long couple of years for this team, regardless of what they say to the media right now. It is wise of them to start the leadership core young, get Suzuki involved, along with some veterans in the mix as well, in Brendan Gallagher and Joel Edmondson, two players that could be gone by the time the Montreal Canadiens are in their contention window. And this just makes a lot of sense. These are guys that are going to help groom him along, but he's just ready for this task right now. You can make the argument that Brendan Gallagher would have been a fine captain for the Montreal Canadiens, but if you look at Nick Suzuki, he's exactly in the mold of Weber. He's a quiet leader. He's not afraid to speak up. He's just the type of player that you want to lead the brigade into battle, and it just makes a lot of sense for him to be the next captain of the Montreal Canadiens. Sure, there could be some growing pains along the way. He is a young captain. There's going to be some learning experiences that he's going to have to deal with, but this was the smart choice by the Habs management group to focus in on that, let the young kids start to grow together, and I think that this is going to be a very good decision moving forward, especially if you consider that 2 or 3 or 4 years down the road, Suzuki will be in the middle of his new contract and he'll have grown into the role as captain of the Montreal Canadiens. I just think that when they're in their competitive window, this decision is going to pay dividends down the line. Now, the Montreal Canadiens also kicked off their annual rookie tournament last night in Buffalo with a 4-3 loss to the Buffalo Sabres. I thought the group as a whole looked pretty consistent throughout this contest. A lot of young players are in this tournament that have a future with the Montreal Canadiens, specifically the likes of Uri Slafkovsky, Justin Barron, Jordan Harris. There's a bunch of names on this list that played last night that were also very impressive. You look at what Slafkovsky did last night. He had a point on the board, and he just looked dominant from start to finish. He used his big frame, his size, and his acceleration. We noticed that he went up to 238 pounds in training camp heading into things, and I think that that's a big weight for him. Not a lot of players succeed in the NHL at that weight. I think there was 5 players in the NHL as a whole last year that played with that body composition. But I think that if you looked at his acceleration last night and his motor, both were very strong, and I think those should put those concerns to bed for now at least. You know what he's able to do against this type of competition, but you're going to look for him in training camp when those games start to matter in the preseason to kind of make a difference on the score sheet, show his big frame, allow players around him to create space, and I think this is just the type of game that you're going to expect from Slafkovsky. He just looked really calm and composed out there, and I think that that's a positive thing for the Montreal Canadiens moving forward. But the one player that really stood out to me and I was surprised by was Owen Beck. Maybe I should have been surprised by him because he was taken 33rd overall by the Montreal Canadiens in last year's draft, but he just looks so strong out there, played a solid 200-foot game, and I think he really has a bright future ahead of him as a third-line center in the National Hockey League. Just such a smart, intelligent player, and he had a nice goal as well in the game. Just a player that was really composed in that game, and I think that also, in addition to that, a guy that a lot of people haven't been hearing about of late is Emil Heineman, and he scored a beautiful goal to open the scoring for the Montreal Canadiens. This is a player with a very, very high quality shot, and he showed chemistry early on in this contest with his line. I just think that that's a very forgotten aspect about the Tyler Toffoli trade, and he's one that could pay dividends down the line. He's the type of player that's going to fit in perfectly in the Montreal Canadiens top 9 and plays that type of style that they're looking to play. So I think that this is going to be a player that's going to surprise a lot of people this year in Laval and potentially even as a late season call-up. That's it for me today from Cook's Corner. As always, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Nick Suzuki being named as captain of the Montreal Canadiens, as well as if you watched the rookie tournament last night in Game 1, what you thought of some of the Montreal Canadiens up-and-coming prospects. I'm Zach Cook. We'll see you later.